It's everybody's favorite video game show. It's Bithead 1000 and he's in the know. So fire up the high-powered camera, and if a game doesn't make the cut, we'll smash it with a hammer. And it's review time. Which system will it be? Okay, as you can tell, guys, we got Sega Genesis on the board today. That's a game system we haven't had up there yet. So this is a very new and exciting opportunity to review video games. And what will we be reviewing today? Atari 2600. So in the interest of eliminating human error, our video game review is chosen by the Wheel of Wisdom. So what we do is we count from top to bottom, left and right, according to the number that comes up on the Wheel of Wisdom. Let's give it a spin. Number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Space Invaders. Okay. Oh, you better watch what you say, Bithead. This is Space Invaders. This is a classic video game. You better not say anything bad about it or put it down. Or, well, let me tell you something, pal. Okay? This is my game, my system, I bought it. It's going to be my review. And I got news for you. If Space Invaders sucks, I'm going to smash it to smithereens like every other game. But you see, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's what you have to have when you play Space Invaders. You have to take in consideration the time that this game was released. And you have to take into consideration the graphics for the time. And the games available at the time. And that's what makes it tough for a game reviewer such as I, who will see Super Nintendo games one day, and then PlayStation games the next, and then Atari games. You got to keep an objective a view and play the game in a non-biased way. So let's get started. Okay. So here's Space Invaders, and it was released in 1980, and it's based on an arcade game that the Guinness Book of World Records called the greatest arcade ever made. Now this game was single-handedly responsible for quadrupling the sales of the Atari 2600. Alright, let me give you a little explanation of what's happening on the screen. Down at the bottom there is me. And a lot of people think I'm a spaceship, but I'm not. I'm just a laser cannon. And the idea of this game is to shoot these waves of aliens that are coming down at me from the top of the screen. And as you shoot these aliens, they speed up, and as they descend, They speed up. And if they get to the bottom of the board, you lose. So you notice the red things, the 3 red things, those are bunkers. And the aliens will wear those bunkers down with their lasers. And eventually they'll disappear. And you might notice that blimp or Zeppelin type thing floating at the top of the screen. If you shoot that, you earn extra points. Now, the frustrating part about this game is you really have to pick your shots, because if your shot goes up to the top of the screen, you don't get to shoot again until the bullet disappears altogether. So when these guys really start coming at you, you really have to be careful with your aim. Especially when they get fast like that. Now, I guess one could argue that this is probably one of the first, I guess, shooter type games, like, you know, like, I guess, what would you call it, vertical shooter type games? And probably was the forerunner to a lot of the shooters that we have today. So I mean, in that regard, you know, this game definitely garners a lot of respect. All right, so let me reset this, and I'm going to quiet down a bit, and we'll see how some of the gameplay goes. So from what I understand, the designer of the arcade machine was a Japanese guy, and graphics before this were basically like Pong type graphics. So he had to actually develop his own hardware to generate these graphics. These graphics were really ahead of their time for 1980, and you know, the arcade was out, you know, before it was out in 1978. And from what I understand, this guy actually had to order processors from America to design some of the hardware that he was building to generate these graphics, which is pretty wild to think that Japanese designer was borrowing electronics from America at the time to you know, to make more advanced graphics. It's just pretty wild. Okay, now I'm really going to button my lip here, and we're going to go for a high score. It's very hard for me to play while I'm talking. You know what? These red bunkers can actually get in your way. Sometimes they hinder you more than they help you. Okay, so there you go. That was an absolutely horrendous game. I'm no professional at this game by any means, but I think you guys get the understanding and pretty much get the gist of what Space Invaders is. And okay, that'll do for now. All right, so that's Space Invaders, and one thing I I didn't mention about the game is it has a bunch of different skill levels that you can play, and to increase the difficulty of the game and whatnot it makes the game a little more interesting. The aliens sometimes are invisible, and when you strike them, it lights up the screen so you can see them and whatnot. So that adds a level of interest. It's funny when you review games sometimes, especially games that are very simple like this. Some games just strike you as games that you like to play, and some games don't. And it's hard to kind of describe it. You can't really put it into words. It's just something that you either enjoy or you don't. Like, for some reason, I could play Circus Atari for hours. I don't know, but there's something so chaotic about it. It just keeps me interested. Space Invaders, on the other hand, it's really not my type of game, even though I'm really into spaceship shooters and whatnot. To be honest with you, if I was going to rate this myself, I would give it a 5 or a 6. But coins out of 10. But for the sheer fact and almost out of respect for what this game did for video gaming and the style of game that it created, I believe this game created a whole genre of games, the shooters in general, and the advancements in graphics, for the year 1980. I mean, this was really, really big stuff, and that can't be ignored. So for that alone, it gets boosted up to an 8. And 8 coins out of 10. That, historically, that kind of stuff can't be ignored. So there we go, Space Invaders. It gets 8 out of 10 quarters. All right, guys. See you next time.